Bam. What up, Yang Gang? We're live. This is our first weekend wrap-up, if you will, a review of the previous week's current events. We're going to try and do it here weekly on every weekend to kind of just bring in a bunch of different voices every time and review the week's madness that we had. Hopefully this is the craziest week we have in 2021, I hope. But it's been one hell of a week.
It's been a fun one.
So go ahead and let me bring up. Everybody knows who the hell is who here. Let me bring that up so everybody can see. I gotta bring up your guys' tags. There we go. Okay. So if you guys don't know, you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves. Go ahead and start, Mike.
My name is Michael, and otherwise known as Resist for Humanity on TikTok. Go check out my TikTok. I'm blowing up over there.
Yes.
Just been around for a while, so glad to be on. Thanks.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm Shane Moynihan. I'm a New York City Yang Gang dude who came on a little bit late. I spend too much time streaming with this character, Michael Patrick.
Yeah.
Check us out on the Washington Heights podcast.
Yes.
It's hard to find it if you search for it. Just look for the Twitter, the tag @WashHeightsPod. You can find the link on there. But yeah, this has been a fucked up week.
Yep. Yes, it has. And just to go back, rewind 7 days from today, it was last Sunday. We're all preparing for the big push in Georgia. And at the same time, we had 3,000 people a day dying of COVID-19 and 250,000 new cases every single day. And that's when we first heard about the new strand in the United Kingdom, which is now in 3 states, Florida, California, and there's a third state. I can't remember what it was.
Colorado?
Nevada?
Colorado. Yep, that's it.
Colorado. Yeah, that's right.
And so the United Kingdom had it, or first reported it, and they locked everything down. They had a 70% spike in cases, like within a few days of discovering it. Yep. And it has like a significantly higher rate of infection rate, which means you're going to have a higher rate of death eventually, because it's still 1%. 1% of something is still people. People's lives are changing.
Yeah.
And so the whole time, this whole past week, and we thought, okay, COVID's the worst of it. Let's flip blue. Let's get the Senate flipped so we can actually get some progress. And wait a minute. So Michael, you're in the Northwest or Northeast?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. Oh, well, you're in the thick of it.
YOLO. There's no virus here. We're not doing anything. We're just pretending it doesn't exist.
It's a mental virus.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's a real humdinger, man. And
it really is. My governor here is, it's been rough. It's been rough out here, but
yeah, they were openly fudging the stats, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They fired.
They invaded that young lady's house that was telling the truth.
Yep.
And they put guns on her family.
Correct.
I mean, for what? Statistics?
Because she was reporting data and they did not want released.
They entered her home, guns drawn. She posed no threat. I mean, this is the Gestapo I've ever seen it.
That's what we're living in. It's a crazy time, and it really is Gestapo style bullshit.
It is, man. Kicking your door, show us your papers kind of thing. Do you have a scar on your chest kind of deal,
Yeah.
It's messed up.
And we're supposed to have a sunshine law here in the state of Florida where like all government communication and stuff is supposed to be open to the public. Like, it's they used to take a lot of pride in this, and I don't think that's been repealed, but they just stopped. That's not what we're practicing anymore.
It's another law they ignore.
Yeah.
Well, I'm up in Michigan where we have a great governor that's doing her job as best as she can. She's doing it so well, they wanted to kidnap her. So
yes.
That's right. That was your state. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
this kind of sounds familiar. Just a little bit. So little.
Mm-hmm.
What was that plot that they were going to kidnap her and they had some
same alt-right psychopaths are at the Capitol right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't tell me they didn't see this shit coming, because they caught them You know, so
what I'm reading is not it's not looking good for the Republican Party. There's a lot of I've been reading. This was, hey, it's just rumor stuff at this point, but it looks like this was coordinated and planned and there were congressional people that were in the loop on this, and
you have multiple people with zip ties. Speaking of Michigan and what's her name, Whitmer?
Governor Whitmer. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there were whether Trump gave the order, whether someone in his administration gave the order, it matters. But in the long run, or in the big picture, they incited people to go down there. They gaslighted them for 4-5 years now, since he started running, 15, right? That they have to get the libs. The libs are out to destroy the country.
That's right.
They're communists. These people are against you. And then, I mean, look, we should. I'm sure you will look at these quotes, but even if this is rogue lone wolf people, like half dozen of a dozen of them, if they're not going to have any protection, that's another thing we got to talk about. The Capitol Police just letting them in. Mm-hmm. They could kill Pelosi. They could kill Pence.
They were close.
You saw that woman get shot, right? That was probably Secret Service.
They were outside the door.
They were moments away from that happening. Something I read just before coming on here, actually, it was that the Department of Defense, remember Trump had done about a month ago, he cleared out a lot of the senior positions and put Trump loyalists in.
Yep.
And then about a week ago, they issued new orders for the deployment of National Guard for they couldn't help local police. They couldn't be decked out in riot gear, like all of these rules that really prevented them from helping in this situation.
Wait, can you say that again? Well, who was prevented from wearing riot gear?
So I guess the Department of Defense had issued new protocols that just a week ago that said that the National Guard, when they deploy, they have to go through these new checks, and then they can't use riot gear when they deploy.
It was authorization protocols. They have to go through more like a sniper's got to get a direct order from someone, and that person's got to get an order from someone before they kill someone. Yeah. Before it's authorized by the government, the U.S. military to say, okay, take that life. And it's the same thing when it comes to the National Guards. Like, okay, here's our protocols. Used to, hey, there's a very high likelihood of danger and physical violence. Prepare for the worst case scenario. This time it's like, okay, go in there with your tank tops and your flip flops.
Yeah.
So they installed red tape. He installed red tape.
They installed buffers to slow reaction times down.
Yeah.
And that's if this is true, that's what they did. But let's just rewind it and let's go, okay, let's say they did a good job of hiding on 4chan, 12chan, whatever website that the FBI and CIA didn't know about it. Let's grant this administration the best of intentions. Let's start there, right? They still fucked up.
Sure.
So don't know what's happening. Trump's in a bunker watching, whatever, with his people playing music and just dancing it up and shit.
Yeah.
Party tent.
But if you see the vice president and his wife and the entire third of your government's checks and balances is in one place at one time.
Yeah.
If there's ever time to attack the infrastructure, it's that place. So you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
Once things hit, and I think it was like 2:00, they started rushing, right? Because Trump announced on Twitter, 11 a.m., undisclosed location. We're going to have a rally, okay? We're going to take it back. They can't steal it from us no more. Yeah. I'm angry. You're angry. And then Giuliani says, we need to have a trial by warfare.
Yeah.
Or combat trial.
Yep. Trial by combat.
Like, woo! We came ready for combat. What do you know? So, best of intentions still. As soon as 2:00 hits, they're rushing, they're jumping the fence, they're breaking things up, they're assaulting officers, they're clearly breaking the law at the Capitol building. It's not the fact that it's happening, it's the fact that where it's happening and when it's happening makes it significant.
Correct.
You got to call in the National Guard ASAP.
Yeah.
It took them 4 hours.
And it's Trump was watching it. He was watching. Yes. They were voting. They were debating. He was dialed in to that event.
Yep. If you guys haven't seen the video, there's a video floating around on Twitter or wherever else you can find it, TikTok and everybody, YouTube, is Trump, his son, and his son's girlfriend, the crazy one. That doesn't narrow it down.
Kimberly,
that one. The one that was making the sycophant yell, "The best is yet
to come."
He's down there.
The wife or
girlfriend of what is it? One of the Trump Jr. Yeah,
Trump Jr.
Johnny Boy's daughter.
I think I did see that. Yeah.
So he's down there. She's down there. Trump Jr. is live streaming.
Yep,
saying
coked out of his mind. I mean,
buddy.
Oh yeah.
But he's like, guys, you're doing a great job. Keep fighting. Keep pushing. We can't let them steal this election from us. Giving orders from a bunker.
And they got that weird that song playing in the background, Gloria.
Very strange song.
It's just like Gloria, Hunger Games.
Gloria. That really brings up the cocaine vibes. Definitely.
Club 42 and mashed up with what's that? The Purge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's happening at the same time. It's not like President Trump was busy. He was standing in front, and I love that these people are so dumb, they incriminate themselves with their own technology. He pans over, and there's Trump standing in front of 5 huge TV screens, and there's some other higher-ranking personnel around. And
Mark Meadows was there.
Questioned. Yes, they're all going to be called into question. I can't wait. I cannot wait for the fallout. It'll take years.
It's going to be a long process, I believe. I saw an article that said the Attorney General's coalition was funding this rally. And that's I think they're based in Alabama. So they've already, this is going to go, it's got tentacles that stretch across the whole GOP.
Well, and when you look at the funding of Parler, they kind of figured out who the people that fund the Parler are some of the biggest GOP donors. It's like you said, these tentacles is like the flying spaghetti monster, man. May his tentacles reach you far and wide, And there's a huge, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
But man, when there's hard evidence, you're like, whoa, wait, what?
There's hard evidence.
Everything lines up.
Yeah. And
it lines up with Q too. I think that the whole Q bullshit was Trump's 2020 campaign. That's what it was, and it's still going on.
Absolutely,
and it lines up with all that crap. He does have people loyal to him. He's surrounding himself with people loyal to him, and I don't know, man. I don't want to dramatize it, but we need to. It looks like a fucking coup. I don't care.
It is a coup. It is a strategic, coordinated attack at a precise location, at a precise time, for a precise reason. And the reasons are overthrow the government to change the election results. That's a coup. There's no way around that. Anyone says it's not a coup is ill-informed or just doesn't want to admit that we are no better than most other countries. We are still fragile. Right. Our democracy is not set in stone, man. It's still a concept we have to accept.
While they're voting, right? They're voting for whether or not he's going to be president. He's like, I want to get my way, and they're overturning it, and that's just coincidentally when the people that he told to go to the Capitol happened to show up with zip ties and guns and get let in by it's just too much. It's too much.
And not just that. I just saw this listing of things that aren't allowed in the Senate. Let me start off. Things that aren't allowed within a vicinity of the Capitol. There's a list. There's a long list of things you can't have within 100 yards, say, whatever the numbers are. The closer you get, the more restrictive it is. That list gets longer. And they had everything. Molotov cocktails. They had found pipe bombs. They're carrying knives on them.
They set up a guillotine or a
gallows.
A gallows, that's right.
Yeah. Somebody did.
I don't know if there was also a guillotine or not.
But it was just a gallows, but that's just one nut job. Let's be real.
Yeah.
That's where it's hard to separate, right? Gotta
So one whack job can bring that just to do that. Another crazy guy was waving a rebel flag. I don't think that was the purpose of it. It's a Trump thing, but
that's what Trump invited. That's what he invited. That when he when he is egging people on, when Giuliani are egging people on. I sent you the link for this little like simple video mashup that I made. I think that after that night, early that morning, it's a poor attempt at memeing at putting the letters on, but I think it's a pretty good little demonstration. Wait, graphic, but it has the woman getting shot though twice. I don't know if you want to air that.
Oh yeah, probably not. That's not cool. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to see it, honestly.
You don't? All right.
Not like I don't want to see somebody getting shot in the neck.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah.
If
you don't. It doesn't. It's not up close, but it's a side angle where you could see she's all the way through the frame. She's like halfway in the room. You know. Yeah. You don't have to show it.
I don't want to show it on here. Let's put it that way. I'm still curious. Yeah. But it's like.
But yeah, Donald Trump Jr. He's sitting there and he's in the rally before. He's going like, "You're either a hero or you're a zero," and and Giuliani, like you said, trial by combat. Like these people are literally storming the fucking Capitol.
They were amped up. They were taken over by the adrenaline. It was like a drug of the event. Like what they were going through was a culmination of online, brainwashing, propaganda, it just built up and then culminated through those speeches. And then we're going to the Capitol. And when the Capitol Police let them in, it was like a adrenaline, like a high for them. Like they felt like they were in a historic moment. And
it was confirmation.
Yeah. And that's what's dangerous is now, like, if we don't root all of them out right now, these are now people that feel like they're experienced. Now they're veterans. They're willing to travel across the country and go do this shit. And
right. Mm-hmm.
It won't be their first rodeo.
That's right.
Here's my thing too, is when they had these rallies and these war cries and all that kind of shit, this is no different than William Wallace in Scotland riling up his troops before they go running into death's doorstep. It's no different than Charles Manson getting those people to murder those families. It's the same thing.
Yep.
And so to say that there's no responsibility at the top is a joke. First of all, that's leadership 101.
Yeah.
I don't like the pushback I don't like the level of the pushback because it's not really that much, but you see it and it pisses you off. Like, because people are being like, don't call it an insurrection. Nobody, first it was like nobody died except for that woman, and then the officer died. So then now it's like, only 2 people died, or only 4 people total with the medical thing. Come on,
this is from the party that's supposed to be pro-life. Okay,
law and order.
This bull. It's only when it's convenient and fits the narrative.
Well, there's also this whole new thing they're trying to repaint history and rewrite history and say it was Antifa.
Oh, that was the most absurd.
Yeah.
Like Antifa? Really? Because I saw you guys online talking this up for weeks. Like they were January 6th. Just wait. America will never be the same after January 6th. And I'm like, what the fuck y'all gonna do?
Well, now they're doubling down on January 19th and 20th.
Yeah.
Which now has put everyone on notice. And you're going to tell me, I'll tell you what, DC is the last place I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time they go back into that building, the legislators, they better be fucking protecting that building.
Not just that, the entire city needs to be on lockdown. Y'all want to play games? Guess what? We're going to show you guys what we really can do. Don't fuck with us. Let's be real. The U.S. government is the biggest organized gang on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And so it's pointless. You just, like Japan dropped the bomb on attacked Pearl Harbor, and guess what? And that's kind of what they've done here domestically, where we're not sleeping on you.
Dude, that's what was so weird was I saw them live streaming from their hotel after this. Like they're hanging out at the lobby,
chilling.
Like, what is going on?
Well, they arrested the guy that walked out with Pelosi's podium. He shaved his beard and all that kind of stuff and tried to change his look. And they're like, nah, bro, we know you're a name,
Yeah.
And they arrested the other guy that kicked his feet up on her desk and left a note that we will be back and all that kind of shit. And I'm like,
yeah,
you can't perform, not just perform a domestic terrorist act, but then brag about it and then publicize it and be like, oh, I didn't do that, man.
They didn't wear masks.
That was Antifa. That was Antifa. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
Well, there's the one lawmaker, the state legislator for, I think, West Virginia.
Shit, what's his name? He went by and pumped his fist up and shit.
Holly?
Oh.
Holly.
Well, there's Holly. There was one that actually did the charging in. Like he was a state.
That was a new one.
Delegate?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he just got elected.
I didn't. That's weird that Antifa would run as a, Republican state legislator. Yeah. I don't know.
Shout out to Carl Wilderquist for that tweet. Yeah, that's so weird. How did Antifa get into West Virginia politics?
Wow, that is a long planning, strategic.
These guys are playing 5D chess now, folks.
For real.
These motherfuckers can't even pay checkers. Don't know.
Invested years drinking beer for a beer gut and the rebel flag and all that stuff. I mean, it's so absurd that Matt Gaetz even said that shit on the floor of the House. Like,
he should be the first one out.
Wait, which one was that?
Matt Gaetz, the one that wore the combat style anti-warfare gas mask on the Senate floor for a day just to get attention, and they never wore a mask again. What a I don't know, man. What a character.
He's a performer.
Yeah. Exactly. He's just a character. Someone here says R.I.P. Jerry Rawlings. Is that the cop or something, or is that somebody who died? So I know one cop died of an injury from getting hit in the head, and then another policeman was crushed by a wall of people against a door jam or some shit.
Oh yeah, wait, that dude died?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I can't remember I don't know all their names.
Oh, I saw that guy get crushed. It didn't look like it. He was like screaming for a few seconds, but it didn't look like he was like fatally killed or whatever.
Oh, here we go. Visurant's here.
Yo,
here she is.
Hey, Viz, what up?
Oh, Viz.
Hey, hi guys. Sorry, I'm a little late.
You're okay. We were just talking about how we got to hold these people accountable.
Oh, yep.
Easily.
Viz, who's Jerry Rawlings? We're trying to figure it out.
Sorry, who?
Do you know who? What did you say, Jerry Rawlings?
Right down here, Jerry Rawlings. I'm gonna look that up.
Oh, Jerry Rawlings. I don't know.
It says R.I.P. It might be just be nobody. Who knows? Not nobody, but know that we would know.
Yeah, we covered. We talked a little bit about just how fucked up this is and all the gaslighting going on. You know, people blaming it on Antifa and
the comparison to the BLM protest really pissed me off.
Oh, that's pointless.
It's like it's a totally unrelated event. Like those are two. You can't why are you bringing that up? And then two, they're not equivalent in any way. In one case you have a state-sponsored public lynching of a black man, and in the other,
women.
And then in the other one you have just a riot, a coup based upon bullshit, absolute nothing, zero,
right. And they claim because their argument is always they come back with all these people's businesses were burned down and destroyed, and you guys didn't care, which is a lie.
Yeah,
right.
We didn't say that.
They're the masters of goalpost moving. They have a goalpost on the fastest greased wheels you've ever seen. As soon as when they first said the election's rigged beforehand. Okay, here we go. And then there is fraud, systemic fraud. Then they're 1 for 60 something in court. Okay, that don't work anymore. They just keep making up new lines in the dirt, and they just now they're painting a corner. Okay, attack.
That comes, like I said, straight from Q. I mean, like, I don't know what % of them are believing this shit, but I guarantee you, in the really red areas, it's probably really shocking. Like, it's got to like 50% or more. Like,
it's close to 50%. I'll say it's under, because I'll try to be fair. But it's close to 40% of Republicans believe in this shit, the QAnon shit.
Well, let's not forget they elected a lady in Florida, of all places. Thanks, Michael, who is a QAnon like guru, and they elected her in office in a small district that a small minority can take over a small area.
Which one? What's her name? Because I can't even keep track. There's like four, how many are there? I know Marcy Green or Marcy something, and then Lauren the one with the gun commercial, Lauren Boebert in Colorado.
Yes, isn't she cute? Oh, for crying out loud! Oh, okay. While we're saying, okay, go ahead and introduce yourself, Visurant, just so everybody knows. We've already done that before, so introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. I'm Visurant, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, and are you part of the hunger strike? Is that you, or am I confused?
Yeah, no, that's me. I started it 29 days ago. I had no intention of anyone joining me or supporting me. I kind of braced myself for maybe negative backlash, because I know that that's not, that's an extreme form of protest, but I was really, really excited to see that there were so many people who were not only supportive, but now we have like almost 20 people who are actively participating.
Wow.
So you're on day 29?
Yeah.
What form of hunger strike are you doing? Like, are you just doing like liquids?
Yeah, so I'm taking my nutrients in liquid form, and I've forgone all food. So I'm not, I don't go and I don't to get fast food or anything. Don't go to restaurants. So it's kind of I said on the Yin Gang roundtable as well, I was saying that that's kind of also a counter protest against, big corporate food, where they're like, okay, we get ads all the time to buy more and consume. But if you're doing this and you're still, taking in the nutrients that you need another way, it's kind of like sticking it to them a little bit. You're like, nope.
Yeah.
I know I wouldn't be smiling on day 20. Oh, I don't know how you're still in a cheerful mood. So
I'm tired. I'm like, I have brain fog. That's the worst. That's the worst of it. It's you wake up and you feel kind of almost like constantly hungover. You're just like, I can't.
I know that. Yeah, I know that. Now we're talking about something relatable.
Here we go. Now we got Dominic shows up. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Go ahead.
Very sorry. I mean, I have very serious problems with different things, but I just had to make it,
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
What do you say?
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, Dominic, Annie.
Yes. So just so you guys know, I ran across Dominic's hot takes on Twitter, and I was like, man, this kid, I got to talk to him, So
Dominic has some hot takes.
Yeah, man, he has great
hot takes, man.
Yeah. And so we got Michael here, who's doing TikTok damage.
Yes.
Shane and Mike have a podcast called Washington Heights, right?
Oh, yeah. Washington Heights, yeah.
Washington Heights. And we got Visurant over here is on day 29 of a hunger strike.
Oh, yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Yes. First of all, that's not my preferred form of civil disobedience.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Like when I was in high school in varsity wrestling, I had to cut weight. I cut like 20 pounds wrestling season to pretty much starve a couple days here and there and literally eat nothing. And I didn't enjoy that. I remember my senior year at the state championships was my last time weighing in. I said, I will never miss another meal the rest of my life. This is bullshit, And like you said, it's this weird foggy headache. Like you have a dull headache all day, every day, because you're dehydrated a little bit. And God, I was razor thin and got dizzy with any kind of exertion.
Yeah.
All that is not, and mental fog is putting it lightly. I really struggled academically. Like I really had to focus just to take a test. You're like, ugh, that's a lot to ask of anybody, alone of a kid. But more power to you, man.
I have a ton of respect for you. That's a huge commit, and
So where are you at, Visurant?
Oh, I'm in Oklahoma.
And where are you at, Dominic?
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay. But yeah, we were just talking about how we have to hold the appropriate people responsible for an insurrection, and it starts at the top. That's authority. That's also responsibility comes with authority. And they're trying to deflect and blame it on Antifa of all things, which is so weird.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Yeah, and so what's your take on this right now, Don? Where you at mentally on this whole thing?
I mean, it's pretty clear that these people were acting based on disinformation that's been fed to them over a long period of time. And the president, no matter how he thinks of it, he has a very damn. I mean, he's very important, and he has a lot of power. And the words he actually says, it has a lot of power. And a lot of people are always going to act on what he says, and so he cannot just deny and say, he's not to blame for what happened. He lied to these people over the course of 2 months and said the election was rigged, and on very thin evidence. And he basically instigated them with a rally in Washington. So it's not surprising that they decided that the best way to take out their anger was to intimidate Congress.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, they were told to intimidate Congress.
Yes,
I mean,
marching orders.
Yeah, they said, we're going to go and we're going to put pressure on Congress when they're counting the votes and make them,
Yep. And then you have Giuliani calling the wrong person's phone number.
That guy is crazy. That guy is totally crazy.
I forgot about that.
What did he say? Yeah. What did he say when he called?
He called the football coach from Alabama, Coach Tuberville, yeah, man. So first of all, his name's Tuberville, so that's like a real fun city, wherever that might be. But he was a football coach from Auburn University, I believe it was, or Clemson, I can't remember. But he called him. He was newly elected. He's like, "Hey, Senator Tuberville," or should I say Coach Tuberville? Kind of like inflate his ego, bullshit,
Yeah.
He's like, "We need our Republican friends to do a good job and challenge every state you can, because right now Mitch McConnell is doing everything he can to speed this up, which is generally a kick in the face, and I really don't get it. And you need to contest every state we can to slow this down and make sure that it goes back to Congress and they have a trial or a debate about it to slow it down and not let this thing happen today and da-da-da-da." Wow. He goes, "And you can call me directly. I'll be up all night and I'd be honored to hear more from you." So pretty much he's telling people to commit fraud.
Yep.
And
after the shit went down that day.
Exactly. The Republican Party is morally bankrupt at this point. I'm not going to be surprised if they go extinct. I mean, many parties have gone extinct. The Federalists, the Democrat Republicans, the Whigs. But it just depends on how the kind of politics the Democrats play in the coming years. So if they actually do things, that people are very, that people like and that people feel good about, I don't think the Republicans stand a chance in the coming years, because the party basically stands for nothing now.
Yeah.
It's
anti-American, anti-common sense,
Yeah, it stands for someone, not for something.
Yeah, and even the person it stands for is a whack job and a con man,
Yep.
But I just go on. I mean, I just think we live in very precarious times, very strange times, and sometimes I tell people that this period in history, when I've read history, a lot of history, and it kind of reminds me of the later days of the Roman Republic, when suddenly soldiers stopped serving the Republic and then became, servants of individuals. It became less about the glory of Rome and more about the glory of certain individuals. And I think, the cult of personalities, that are beginning to emerge, and it's not only on the right, it's also a problem on the left.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but if there is anything that they stand for, I think, like you said, that they don't stand for anything anymore. Well, it's probably just Machiavellianism and staying in power at all costs, right? And like you said, just service to Donald.
Yeah.
if you look at
this new populism.
Well,
it's populism.
The same thing happened in China for about 3,000 years, where they have a dynasty, if you will, that this one person said, okay, we're all going to agree, but we're all going to disagree on certain things, but on one thing, we are one people. Then you're free to, like, they set up their own individual states by tribes. They had tribal states in China, just like in Native America, just like in Africa, just like in South America, just like in Europe. You have the Germanians and the Franks, and so we've always had this system. This is the first experiment, if you will. We're still living in an experiment where we're saying, okay, let's do self-ruling, which is
exactly,
and we're finding it hard.
This morning, I actually did I actually recorded a podcast, I plan on releasing, and it's about, like, I think this nation is like a massive experiment on whether people can actually see that we have more in common. We have more that unites us than divides us. I think it's about a lot. Self-rule, common sense, liberty, equality. These are ideas and concepts that are very new.
What I love about it is ultimately it says, are we the people any better than them, the elite? And it looks like we're not. As of right now, we're not.
I feel like we've been conditioned to be kind of bad. I mean, in a sense, I feel like, over the generations, we haven't been taught how to take care of ourselves. Like, we've been saying, oh, so-and-so in power is going to take care of it. And we truly put a lot of power up there with the elites, but they've taken it from us. They've taken our power of choice away. And they've taken our ability to think for ourselves and have critical thinking. We just believe whatever party got that loyalty that's so toxic. So, like, over the generation.
Yeah, it's an extension of kind of, you reminded me of the, Thomas Paine and, like, what he was trying to do, restore our rights, our natural rights. And it kind of extends out even further in just every generation, more and more depriving us of our, like, right to be, like, to have sanity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got a question for everybody here. Now that most of us are here, we're missing one person, which is Juan. Juan the Dada. He's one of the guys that drove one of Fred's trucks, I believe. Me and him had a little pushback today. He's more of a conservative background and said that this could be prevented if people would have treated Trump more fairly. And I was like, I'd love to have him in the room. So I invited him to come on. He said he's going to come on. He's working on his dad's semi. So if he comes in, he comes in. But I think a good place to start is, it cracked me up too. But I want to know where everybody stands. Who here is for or against 25th Amendment right now?
Right now,
I'm for it.
Get that out of there.
To me, that's the first step. It's the most time-effective step. Get them out, and everyone that's on his cabinet and his vice president need to just do what's right. This person's unfit, is a danger to the community. Done. 25th Amendment should happen yesterday. Actually, 2 days ago.
Hang Mike Pence.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I saw that trending on Twitter not too long ago.
That's what they're shouting. That's what they're shouting there. Like, why? Like, if that was me, if I was Mike Pence, I would be doing it right away. What is he waiting for?
Here's my thing, though. When you say hang Mike Pence, who wants to hang anyone? I don't get it.
I don't know, but they just love being these people. This goes to, like, that episode of Yang Speaks where you have the former white supremacist on. These people are searching for meaning in their life, and they just, oh yeah, I can be part of this little chant, this little
I think what you're saying makes absolute sense, Shane. I think this is human nature, and we always try to underestimate human nature. And I think most people want to believe in something.
Yeah.
And I think, religion served to fill that role for a very long time. And now religion is being taken away from a lot of people. And, instead of, they're now putting that faith, that belief in actual people, absent thought, And, I don't know how to explain it well, but it's the vacuum, that's been left by religion that is being filled by, cults of personalities, and so I think it's just human nature. So if people want to defeat these developments, the thing is to create a kind of civic religion that people that values that projects common sense, that projects very positive values that people can believe in, to fill that void.
We call that human-centered capitalism over here in the Yang Gang, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you don't want to be like, you hate to like project that or like to admit like that we're doing a new kind of religion. It's very culty, but like that there's something that has to happen. And for people like Boyce and other people, I'm kind of like agnostic. I mean, I believe in God, but I believe it's like a choice. Like I just have faith. But like for people like who don't, there has to be something, or they better have good family, have good support system, or shit like this happens.
I don't think that's the case. That I totally disagree with that, because I actually think religion is part of the problem, and I know that this is bad. Like that's not that'll take that I'll catch some heat for, but I think I live in the South. I know the very religious churches, the evangelicals down here, and they promote from a young age the suspension of rational thought in favor of fantastical narratives, and that's what's impacting still today. And it's infiltrated into government too, so it's like their ties with the government are so strong, and they are able to suspend belief about masks. And
I don't think you disagree though, because I think we all suspend our disbelief. We do that all the time. Crap, I had another great point. Sorry. Yeah.
It happens all the time. Trust me. So I got another question. So Mike Pence didn't do his job. Who's next? Congress. So now Congress has already enacted papers on Monday, which I don't understand why he's got to wait till fucking Monday. I don't understand this shit.
Yeah.
Weekend don't exist during an insurrection, during a coup. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Go to work, assholes. Go right back in that building and do your job. So Monday they have articles in the House for impeachment, clearly. And then it's going to go to the Senate, and then we're going to see where they lie. I think 2 Republican senators have come out and demanded resignation. They're trying to save face, but who thinks the juice is worth the squeeze to impeach Trump right now?
Fucking right now.
Right, like yesterday.
Yeah.
I support the idea of impeachment. Does anybody else not support the idea of impeachment and wasting our time, if you will?
I'm kind of like in the middle of the road, because I kind of feel like we've already seen this movie before. Like we were talking about invoking the 25th like a couple months ago or weeks ago. Like this
every
was
year.
Not or a year ago. Yeah, this was
every
not
year.
New. This was like it should have already happened, and then it's just frustrating that they're still waiting. Like what are they waiting on? I guess is my question.
Oh yeah.
I heard it was some protocols, or so there's some rule, because they're not in session. In order to do it over the weekend, they would have to have a unanimous consent, and the Republicans were refusing that, and so it has to be Monday. But there's a lot of arcane rules.
Weak sauce, man.
It is
weak sauce.
It really
Mike,
is.
I remembered my other point. I was going to say all or almost all narratives are fantastical. Like we naturally do that too. And I want to get back to, I have to get into the nitty gritty of it, but I don't know if anybody is familiar with Jacques Derrida, the French philosopher. Mm-hmm. He's famously really hard, just even the smartest people in the world, it's you can't really read him or explain him. It's really dense, but basically what he said is every choice that you make in life is technically mad or insane because of how everything is unknowable. Right, Buddhism, everything. If you're really wise, you can't know everything. Yeah. So, therefore, any choice that you really make is crazy. You need to take a leap of faith with each time.
Well, every new idea is a challenge, right? The world is flat. No, it's not. That's a big deal. Zeus created the heavens and the gods. No, he didn't. Jesus, God, the one true God. Oh, there's three. There's 3 of them. No, there's not. There's 1. Yes, there is. There's Buddha. No, there's not. Yes, there is. We're always reinventing things. But I, as an atheist, I would like to see us evolve past supernatural interventionism as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, I mean, we have data, evidence, peer reviewed, like repeatable, like we know that we don't have to take a leap of faith on everything. Like, and that's where I think that I feel like a lot of this has gone is with the science denialism that's going on in our government even now. And it's, I mean, I never would have imagined we'd live in a country where science is being denied and costing tens of thousands of lives because of it. And
hundreds of thousands now.
Yeah. No, I just saw the number. I think it was like 300. It was like 375,000 now dead.
Over 4,000 people died in one day on the 6th. Wow. So we're living in such denial of facts. Like, you know, we've all heard the same song and dance, right? We're let's just move on because we all know we're in a weird place and people are just dumb, you know, and it is what it is. We got 70 million people that thought, I think I'll double down on Trump.
Yeah, I tell you, my last point on that was I spent the better part of this whole year trying to figure out how to rapidly evolve the thinking of, you know, 170 million Americans. Because I, like, after Yang's campaign and then with this COVID stuff, I was like, we have a problem here. And the end result, my answer is you don't rapidly evolve all these people's thinking. Like, this is who we are.
Like, to me, it takes a direct impact to change your mind, to challenge you to think. Like, my dad was a racist, right? And so it softened him slightly when my sister had her first daughter, who was biracial. And you can see him going, you know, like, error. How can I have feelings for this human? It has black blood. It is impure. I hate.
The gears are turning, right?
Yeah, I hate everyone else except for this one. You know, like, you can see it challenging him. So it took a direct life experience to challenge him. And unfortunately, that's what most people need that are so hidden and blinded by their own hatred, division, fear, or inexperience with other cultures, other belief systems, other governments, whatever it might be. So unfortunately, that's what it takes. And I think this is the time where enough people center of right are going to make a hard sprint towards the center. So I think that the corporate Democratic Party is going to be the corporate, which is what they are, the Republicans. They're soft Republicans. And I think now is when we got to have that third party's got to come in and say, you guys
hard left, man. So we got the far left, which is left of me, but I consider myself left of the current center, where we're gonna have this far right swing that just needs to be cut. Just snip. Yeah.
You don't even have. You're sorry. You're just.
Yeah, we're done with you guys.
Your extreme view can't be representative in this country, not productively.
I think the politics here goes under. I think it swings like a pendulum, left, right, left, right, and some political theorists have tried to say there have been 6 party systems. You know, the first party system, that was George Washington. And, you know, I tried to differentiate it into liberal, conservative, or liberal conservative is not an accurate description, like progressive and conservative. You know, the first president brought about new systems. You know, the democratic system we had, I mean, they created was something new. You know, George Washington came in, and then there was what's his name again? Then there was Thomas Jefferson, you know. So, but then after that, you know, that was Andrew Jackson, the second party system. Right. And there was a third party system, which was like a swing back to progressiveness. And then there was a fourth one. And then there was the fifth one, which was the New Deal, which was very, very popular. Franklin D. Roosevelt. And then the sixth one, which is where we are now. So, but I think, you know, once politics goes to a particular extreme, you know, it swings back the other way. So I think people are beginning to see that, you know, what we have, the system we have, is no longer working. And I think, you know, the more people get fed up with the system, you know, the more likely things are going to change.
Well, that's the thing too. I want to talk about bipartisanship. There's a 2-party system. It's a duopoly. It must swing in left or right direction.
But you know, but just take a look. You know, I mean, last year people were saying "fuck the blue," but these people were liberals, and last week, this week, people were saying fuck the blue, but they were conservative. So,
right.
We're going back to the same place, but for different reasons.
Exactly.
So
it's life experience and for them, their life experience that they was, fuck the blue, they're in my way.
Yeah.
There we have the fantastical narrative.
Yes. So for example, the people that are against military intervention, the left is against it because of human rights reasons, and the left is like, why are we wasting our money and our soldiers there? So for different reasons, we're converging at the same place, and I think this is a phenomenon that we're going to see more in the future.
Yeah. I want to see us focus on things that we agree upon, and I think that's considered. I consider it moral centrism, where we can all agree that human life has value. Even if I don't agree with you, even if you storm the castle, I see you as having value as a person. I think you're a psychopath. You need therapy, but I still value you as a person. And I feel sorry for people that are like that have been duped and abused and neglected their whole life to feel like this was their only choice was extremism, Yeah, it's scary. I think that 2020 they're going to have some documentaries come out, of course, and I think some of the narratives are going to be this is how you make a domestic terrorist group.
Yeah, that's an interesting subject though. Like the you can have people coming from completely different perspectives arriving at the same conclusion that this is the direction we need to go. Now the question will be, can we accept people that are coming from the other perspective if we agree upon the goal, but our motives and stuff are different? Will we be able to, set that aside and say, okay, let's move forward anyways?
That's the kind of thing where you need more nonpartisanship, or a third party would help with that, right? Like you have an alliance between two big groups.
Well, or just a recognition that the goal is worth I don't know.
Your differences aside, you have to. Yeah, but that's what I mean by moral centrism, right? So if we have a third party that represents the middle, if you will, that Bell's curve of ideology, if the right and left get too far on the edges, they'll lose the middle and it's over for them. They do not want to do that. So just the idea of a third party brings them back to the center where they belong, where we are at, to represent us. And that's kind of that's the biggest challenge we have moving forward, is how do you get third party threat or I don't know how to put it. Like, how do you get a better idea of, okay, if you guys keep this up, third party will not just challenge you, but defeat you. And then what are you going to do? And that's what they're scared of. Yeah. They're so scared of a third party. When Ross Perot came, what came after Ross Perot?
You need it's almost like you need a third voice in the room sometimes, because you'll just be like bickering like an old couple, right? Like bickering at each other, like blaming each other for everything. I could have done this.
Yeah.
And then if you had a kid, if their kid was over and like was watching them, they'd be like, would you guys stop fucking arguing? Like, can we can we go to the store and get some dinner? Like,
we need a bridge club at grandma and grandpa's house. What we need, right?
like a third party that won 10% of the seats in Congress. They would be the decision makers.
Yes, that'd be the swing voters, is the progressives. Absolutely. And we're close. We're getting there, at least that way. As far as if you consider the squad part of what you consider progressivism too, because some people don't agree with their views. I don't agree with all their views, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I agree that we need to take care of people, and that's all I care about is that we help as many people per policy as possible.
That's right.
So I really do think that it comes down to down ballot candidates is where we got to start the progressive movement. Stop focusing on President Yang right now. That's not happening. Okay. That's out of our control. That's a long-term goal. We have to focus on
28
Senator.
He'll be mayor. So
2022 is what I'm worried about. We have 2 years, less than 2 years, to get people in state Senate, state Congress, district attorneys, sheriffs, council board members. Yes, Erica Rhodes and Reverend Wendy Hamilton. Let's go.
Would it make more sense to have a progressive like caucus that people can then run under within the two-party system because it's so ingrained, and then maybe try to build that up, and then that could split off at some point?
That's what People's Party is trying to do right now.
Okay.
That's what I think their whole point is, gathering people, like getting big names behind them too. Like what's his name? Shoot. The smartest goddamn guy. Oh shoot, jeez Louise. Sorry guys, I'm losing it. He's got the gap in his teeth. He's awesome. Oh shit.
Oh,
it's gonna drive me crazy. He called everybody brothers and sisters. I love him. You know what I'm talking about, babe? The guy that, oh shoot, guys, I'm dying over here.
Wait, say again. What is this guy?
He's like the professor that is crying for people to get together, and he calls Trump his brother. He calls good people bad. My brothers and sisters. Yeah. Like he's got the big gap in his tooth, and he's just fucking amazing. Shit. Dr. Cornel West.
yes. That's beat.
Damn it. That took me forever. People like him are leading the charge for the Progressive Party. I'm telling you what, if he's behind it, it's going to go somewhere.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised. I'm pretty surprised that we don't have more. Maybe there are some, but I haven't heard of any like vocal, visible gang running for local office as a Republican. Why? I'm actually very surprised. Like,
I know of one. There was what's his name?
We had one, but he lost in Montana.
Morgan?
Dan.
Was it Morgan?
I think Giannino was talking about something small, but I don't think I don't know. He mentioned it one time.
Well, Dennis from Trumpers for Yang was thinking about running now. He's sick of this crap. He says he might check out of politics for a while. Who else center right that thought about it? Russell from Yang Gang, grassroots Yang Gang. He's going to run possibly up in Vermont. That's center right. But the thing is I think the right is going to have a new definition now. So we got to figure out what's that going to mean now. What does being a Republican mean moving forward? Depends on how they act now.
I think you can influence that direction too, if you could, because if you sold right now, the Republican Party is coming to terms with the fact that the libertarian frame of governance and politics is probably dead. This is the age of populism, and if they want to win, they're going to have to offer more than the other side, because once Biden cuts those $2,000 checks, that's going to impact people. If they need to do that day, like as soon as possible, because that'll hit people's pockets. They'll appreciate that. And we need to be already arguing for 6 months.
Reoccurring.
Yes. I was just going to say that, bro. We should have that debate, because I like the idea of going real hard on that. And because like Andrew said, once we get that, it will be really hard to take it away.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What I don't want us to do is get lost in the mud, because I like the idea of backdating it, but I think we're too far out that we really can't go back that far.
Yeah.
To the beginning of the pandemic, because there's just no way. I want that to happen, because the damage has been done since that day, right? But there's no way pragmatically, I'm a pragmatist, that we can go back a year and do $2,000 a month for the past year. It took us 8 months to get $600, so
yeah,
I'm trying to be pragmatic, but I think we can say, okay, let's say we're going to do the next 6 months. But we got to undo the pain that's been done, which I think it should be forgiving debt for landlords and mortgages and student loan payments. They should all be forgiven, right? Which is going to be more of our tax money, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. But to say we're going to go back a year is really to say that we're going to give everybody $24,000.
Yeah.
At one time, I just don't see how that's feasible through.
I think it's okay for people to be making that case, because it just makes puts pressure on, but I don't think it's realistic. But I think it helps us with what we're trying to do moving forward, because it's like, no, they're not going to be able to meet that demand, but maybe moving forward,
Yeah, and I love the fact people are trying. It's the right thing to do, right?
It is. They fucked us over. this country has just they've ruined their they broke the trust, the contract that they have with the people to protect us and our interests and our lives. And I don't know. I mean, even money doesn't bring it back really, but it's a start. I got 2 teenagers that are like older and they're going out into the real world. And I tell you, when I talk to them and what they've seen this year, they've lost all faith and confidence in this country and the older generations. And it's like obvious. I don't blame them at all. Like,
I want to hear what do you guys say about this Visurant? Because I think that I've seen you supporting back. What the hell is that called? What's your point of view? Sorry, I'm trying to.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I'm actually like, I know a lot of people are trying to do the the back pay. They're pushing for that, but after everything that I've seen with how this country is being run and all the people who are making such horrible decisions and they just kind of like fuck us over and they just do whatever they please. And I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm done trying to operate within these like messed up rules that they seem to have all the time. So that's why when I'm doing the hunger strike, I'm fighting for straight up UBI. I'm like, I don't care about the past of what's already gone by because you can't bring that back. It's gone. But we can absolutely demand the future. And so what I want to have happen is have those $2,000 checks, because they don't get to say, oh, well, let's compromise and do $1,500 or $1,000. They lost that option to fight with us for that, to compromise. They have put us in such a horrible position that I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't care. Figure it out. You guys have the money. It's there. So
we have the leverage. We have the leverage right now.
And I'm going to put the pressure on them for as long as possible. And I will put myself through the ringer. I mean, I'm not saying this for everyone who's watching, that I am not condoning, harming yourself or doing anything bad. I've told everyone who's fasting to fast at their pace. You can just do one day out of the week. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to fast at all. But what I am personally doing to really put the pressure on all the politicians and everybody who has a say in any of decisions that have to do with UBI, I am going to make a spectacle of myself so that I put that pressure and I go, we are not compromising anymore. It is 2,000 reoccurring checks every month for every adult. That's it. Figure it out. Yeah,
Fuck
period.
Yeah.
Well, and I do like the point that you're driving home, that you have a specific goal and you have a specific tool to use it against, right? So I think that something we can expand upon is maybe the idea of a general strike.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're doing a general strike against consuming goods of food, right? What if we say, fuck the dumb shit, we ain't buying nothing. Walmart, good luck.
I've been encouraging people to shop small. And there's a ton of, if you look for it, there's a ton of smaller businesses that desperately need customers. They desperately need help. But we have this conglomerate of, Nestle and Walmart, and we have all these other people who are just taking over. And I guarantee you, if just a few thousand, just to start, people started taking their business elsewhere, all of a sudden they'll be like, where are you guys going? How can we fix this? But come back. We can't get them just by protesting. We have to actually get them in their wallets and be like, F you guys.
Light bulb, because Mike is going to talk about this because Mike is all about this. But what about targeting the most grossing locations of the corporations, right? Go to the top 5, most, they make the most money and just focus on that.
Yeah, that's a great start, so that they know we're serious and we're not just all talk. That we're actually.
I think y'all are underestimating something. The people here are very, very selfish. They're all about themselves. So you have a culture of selfishness, and most people are just gonna say, yeah, we're gonna do this, but at the end of the day, they're not gonna do shit.
But you know what else combats that? The only thing that combats that is proven today to be the highest thing is that every single person has a fucking ego. Everybody in politics, they have egos. I mean, people are willing to forego science just to keep their corrupt agendas going. I've seen that. People are willing to go oh yeah, I'm not gonna do this and that for whatever, and they're being conditioned to be all I don't know. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Hold on.
I'm just gonna say the biggest threat to this democracy is not the elites in power. It's actually the people themselves, because if you think about it, it's complacency that plagues the average person here. I have lived in a place, where people didn't have the privilege to actually go to the voting booth and have their votes counted properly. They had guns to people's heads, and they had to vote a certain way. But people here have the ability to vote whatever way they can, but they choose to play these games with politicians and somehow expect that things are going to get better.
Yeah.
It doesn't make so. It's complacency, that plagues. I think complacency and lack of knowledge. I'm not going to say ignorance, although I feel very strongly about that, though.
No, say it what it is.
Where do you come from? Where does your family come from that experienced that? Nigeria. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
I got some thoughts on this general strike idea. I think it's the only thing that I think it's going to be necessary to accomplish this. What we need, but I think that we need to be more creative than what is typically thought of when you say a general strike. Typically you think massive protests out in the streets for long period of times, and we're like, I don't think that we have the stick-to-itiveness to do that as a people here. But what we can do is be creative in the way that we hit them in the pocketbooks. Not participating in the economy is one way. I really like the idea, or I liked what the NBA did last season, where a small group of players at the right moment with the maximum impact just said, we're not playing today during that playoff game. And that that got results.
Yeah, it did.
And that doesn't require you to do anything. You don't have to go hold signs. You don't have to go like march down the street. You just have to not show up. And it just takes a small group at the right moment, if you're tactical and creative thinking, to do that. And you could have, if in all of us in different industries, there's probably, different ways that we could all do that in our own way. And if, but make an impact and make it hurt, and it has to, I think it also has to hit normal people. Like normal people missed out on that game. They were going to go watch that game that night, and they felt the impact, and they had to think about, why were these people taking this away from me? Oh, okay. And that's,
yeah. I think another way is, like you're saying, a small group of people. They had to be a people of power, though.
People who can risk it, right? So they already have something in the bank account, right? And the power, the eyeballs of millions of Americans.
Well, no, everyone has power though. It's just so, like school bus drivers, you might not think they have power, but if they decided to strike on the first day of school,
there's no.
They've got leverage. And all of us have leverage in a way. And if it's just using the biggest, one of the bigger disappointments was in the state of Florida this year, when they were starting up school and our governor was mandating in-person schooling with no training, no equipment. It was just and virus numbers through the roof. The teachers were they all wanted to strike. And they just didn't do it. When it came, they just all showed up. And we have to figure out how to get them to that point where they're willing to take that move. And maybe it's something where they don't have to all strike forever, but make that call in sick day, 1 day a week or 1 day a month. I don't know.
We have to get organized.
Yeah. Now, what I'll say is
the industries, right? Like,
I like what Michael said here. He said about leverage. And I think the most important thing is solidarity. If there's no solidarity, these things are never going to work. It's about people deciding that, they've had enough, and, being of one mind and doing what needs to be done. So if there's no solidarity between people, these things are just, but, I'm very pessimistic about this society, because I feel like it's too materialistic. Most people have their priorities screwed up. And this is why they keep taking advantage of us. Because we're willing to settle for crumbs. Yeah, you're right. And most people are unwilling to do the hard work. They're unwilling to persevere. I mean, there was the first day of the lockdowns. People were scrambling for tissue papers.
Yes.
The first day, literally.
Yeah.
So are you telling these people to make themselves uncomfortable?
Yeah.
For yeah. So I mean, this is the biggest problem. It's not that people don't know their power, and I think anything that needs to be done, you need to start educating people on the power that they have.
I think the arts are something that's lacking. Like our arts have become commercialized, like industry, like, and we need to, because that's how you can hit people in the heart and make them build that sense of community. Music. I think it's going to be a multi-pronged effort across multiple, but that's one that we need to focus on, I think.
Well, I want to go back to people in power can lead, but the right kind of power and the right type of leadership, the right type of goals. So what if, like, let's say LeBron James decides, guys, I'm going to organize something here and say, all right, guys, we're not going to play this whole week. We're taking the entire week off. We're going to do public exhibitions for free to organize. This is my idea of a general strike, right? So today we're going to play basketball to entertain people for free. No one makes money.
I wonder if it'll break their contract.
Who knows? But they're taking a risk too, right? Like, you have to have coin in this game. So what are they going to do though? Not hire LeBron James?
That's right.
Yeah. Right? He has power and leverage and opportunity. So let's say we organize a general strike where someone like LeBron James says, we're going to play basketball for free. We're going to go, and we have a music group that says we're going to do a concert for free. We're going to do a stand-up comedian like Dave Chappelle's going to show up in fucking Iowa in the middle of a field and do stand-up comedy for free. We're just going to show up. No one goes to work. Nobody goes to work. We're going to go to free concerts, free basketball. That we are a country of consumers. And like you're saying, Michael, this is what got me going is they've commercialized our entertainment to the point where most people can't afford it anyway.
That's true.
And so if we can use the arts and entertainment and our egos at the same time,
bring them, align them.
So that's my idea is India just had the biggest strike on planet Earth and nobody said shit about it.
Yep.
They had like 1 billion people go on strike with a fucking B, man. 1,000 millions. Okay. That's a big number. If we can challenge, say, hey, we'll show them, like, we don't even have 1 billion people. But I think if we can use our competitiveness in line with our anti-consumerism for a general strike to say, let's show them how long we can go on strike. Let's show them how long we're willing to suffer, to be uncomfortable. Like Dominic said, be uncomfortable. Go without 3-ply toilet paper, some shit. I don't know, but yeah, go ahead, Dominic.
I'm going to say something.
All their money out of Chase. Take and Bank of America. How about that? Get all your fucking money out of those bullshit. Go to your neighborhood bank and like other ones, like online ones, like that are FDIC insured.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing. When you're comparing India and the United States of America, you're comparing two very different cultures, and you're comparing a set of people who have seen practically the worst there is to, they have nothing to lose. And people who have nothing to lose are usually the fiercest. It's always very easy to say, yeah, we're going to suffer because there's nothing to gain anyways. But I think this is the biggest problem, here is that many people feel they have something to lose. And I think, the biggest, the best way, to just change things is education and, enlightening people. It's okay to have plans, but let's be realistic,
I'm dreaming. You're a dreamer.
If you don't change the psychology, if you don't change the psyche of people, all these things are never going to come to fruition. We're just going to make plans, and at the end of the day, because our plans depend on the free will of people.
I don't think it's a bug. I don't think it's a bug that we're 47th in the country in education. It's not a bug; it's a feature. We are ignorant people as a culture.
So this thing is actually on purpose. I think it's just like this place is like a bed or like a research laboratory for a new kind of experiments. I like to call it neo-feudalism. They've actually created a new kind of feudalism that looks very modern. They've replaced religion with the media. Before, the religious, the priests and the monks, they did the gaslighting for people in power. They were like, if you do this kind of stuff, God is going to punish you. The leaders have the divine right to rule. But now it's the media which is doing the job for the people in power. They're doing the gaslighting. And then we have the corporate class, which has replaced the nobility. They provide all the money, and they have the before, I mean, like 300 years ago in Europe, they have the serfs, serfdom, where where peasants worked on the lands of nobles, and the nobles gave them a piece of what they worked for. And just look at the society we live in now. You go to a place, you work for a company, and you make all the money for them, and then they give you a chicken feed and say, yeah, this is your monthly pay. Right. So we're actually living in a new kind of serf system, but we actually don't know, because we have all this flashy stuff, to cover up our eyes, the phones, the gadgets, the entertainment.
That's why I invited Dominic on, guys. Let's think about it. That was freaking awesome.
No, so I mean, if you look at it, we actually reverting back to the old way of doing things, but we actually don't. It takes insight to actually realize what is going on. Yeah. So I mean, it's happening very, very slowly. But eventually, we're going to get there if we're not careful.
It's unchecked corporate commercialism. System, like you're saying, the elites. That's a good point, man. I never thought about it like that. That's a really good point.
It is.
But in this, before, I think what differentiates our current situation from before is that before people, the elites utilized fear, but now they utilize ignorance. They purposely just think about the college system. Colleges are one of the places you go to, and you come out better, but it's almost inaccessible because of the high cost of college and whatnot. So for a normal person to go to college now, it costs you're probably going to be in debt for half of your life. I feel like this is part of the plan, the keeping people ignorant, because the best person to parasitize is an ignorant person. I mean, there was a time, when I was in Nigeria, I had this old man. He had 100,000 naira in his bank account, but he didn't know how to operate the bank account. He had to meet people to help him. It's like, I want to withdraw 10,000, and actually you could actually withdraw, let me say 20,000, pocket 10 and give him 10, and he wouldn't know a thing because he's ignorant. So it's actually easy to prey upon people who are ignorant. I mean, there's no need to make people afraid. You just need to make them dumb enough to that they don't realize they're being ripped off, and then they're throwing these silly labels, left, right, conservative, liberal. What exactly does all that stuff mean?
Division.
To me, you bring up a great point.
The purpose of politics is to be able to help people. That is all. These silly dramas, they don't really make sense to me. If you just think about it, you're just like supporting a football team. And at the end of the day, you're not going to actually share the trophy or whatever rewards they get. You're just going to have the feeling you were in the team. That's all. And that's the kind of feeling people have these days. Yeah, our party won, and what are you getting? Nothing.
Right.
So they just throw people. They just it's divide and conquer. It's a very, very clever tactic. Very, very clever.
And the key there is ignorance, right? And you remind me. I think Faye Donnie. I think it was Faye. Blair might have talked about this too. I think, but one of the problems that's coming up, down the pike or whatever, is like in developing nations when they're getting internet, we got to be on top of like misinformation from the beginning, because the possibilities for people to be misled and radicalized. I mean, look, I'm not saying like they're dumb, but like some people have never been exposed to whole different, like a meme, like to see if a meme is real or sarcastic,
We can't do that here, man. Like,
right? Yeah,
it's tough. And part of it is the people are so busy just trying to survive. They keep everyone so stressed out and so distracted with all this survival shit that they don't have time to think about stuff too much. I think that to you're talking about the serfdom stuff, and lately I've been thinking about like wage slavery, and then thinking about the founding of our country, and we were an economy based on slavery. That's how we were formed, and even though we've outlawed slavery, that concept never went away. I think it transitioned. We still have the ruling class still views us as
human capital. That's it.
Human capital, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Or chattel.
So I mean, I was working on this idea. It sounds very ridiculous. I mean, the name sounds very ridiculous, but I'm just gonna go ahead and share it.
Yeah.
I called it felicitalism. It's just a word I just
awesome.
devised.
That's a cool word.
But but I was thinking about what was written in the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
They said, we hold this truth self-evident, that all people were created equal and they were endowed by Creator with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I was thinking, why do we exist? I'm just going to go ahead and pose this question to you all.
Okay.
Why do you all think we exist?
I don't do the why. I'm an atheist, so I don't even ponder the why. Personally.
No, because I feel like if you were able to answer this question, you can actually create a society that works for the common person, for the least common person in the society. If you're able to answer this question, this is the question I feel like all. Okay, go on.
Hear it, yeah.
We are here to experience. And it's really confusing because, a lot of people are trying to assign some deeper meaning to it. And, I'm not trying to disrespect anyone's religion or anything, but for me, I was in a Catholic family. And so it was very much, ritualistic, very much. There's all these saints, there's all these, fantastical, supernatural people. And, when you kind of break down life, especially on a science level, the universe and the world and everything is constantly experiencing itself and each other. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we have empathy, we have all of these characteristics that make us human, but yet all the time we're kind of abandoning that for other means, like with money and power and ego and all that. That's what I was speaking on about ego before, is that we focus on all of those things, but yet we've literally forgotten, or not forgotten, but we're not always talking about, okay, well, we're here on this spinning earth. Why? Well, we're here to experience it. We're here to live this life and help each other and progress. But we're not progressing when we hyper focus on the trappings of our life.
Okay. Yeah, Michael, what about you? What do you think? Why do we exist?
It's weird because I'm very much aligned with Viz there. I was gonna say, maybe I'll say it in slightly different wording, but when I think about stuff, I don't think that there's a real difference between us and our bodies and the universe as a large. We're all like this is all just part of the same thing. I think they call it pneuma, and some that's a one word, but basically that means that if consciousness is part of that as well, consciousness is the universe, and that means that we are literally the universe observing itself and trying to understand itself. And so that's about as spiritual as I get.
And what about you, Shane?
Okay, so same thing. You guys took the words out of my mouth. I was going to bring up to live.
Okay.
Movie, a lot of people saw that movie Soul over a couple weeks ago. It came out on Disney Plus. Have you seen that, Dominic?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's very, very trippy, but that's kind of the main thing. I'm not going to do a spoiler, but am I?
I haven't watched it yet, so don't spoil it for me. My girlfriend.
It's basically just talking about that. That's the meaning to life,
Oh, okay. But anyway, I'm going to say, if you're going to create a society that works, you need to find a universal denominator because there needs to be a reason why society, why society exists.
Yeah, common.
And I think, the foundation of that is finding the universal denominator of why humans exist. And so, for example, you boys, I'm going to ask you, do you like being sad?
Negative.
No, fuck.
Michael, would you choose between sadness and happiness?
Happiness, 100%.
And what about you, Shane?
Yes, I want to be happy.
And Visurant, what about you?
I don't mind being sad. I mean, I actually kind of thrive when I'm not happy, because when you're happy, you don't learn. When you're happy, you're just happy. But when you're sad or you're mad or you're upset, you're having your whole body and your whole mind focusing on what's going on.
I hate to make this conversation philosophical, but why do you think, I'm going to ask you now, why do you think, you prefer sadness?
I guess because sometimes, you're just happy that, you take the good and the bad, and that something has been so good that it can make you sad, that it can make you feel something.
Okay, so by being sad, you have a sense of fulfillment, right?
You have a sense of, happiness is fleeting. It's not a constant. It's precious now.
You need
something you're chasing.
Yeah, you need.
But the thing people don't realize is that happiness means different things to different people. Sometimes. So there are some people. I mean, there are sexual kinks. Where people, they thrive on pain.
Right.
And they thrive on kind of emotional anguish, something like that. But it kind of, in a twisted way, it kind of makes them happy. So I think when you look at it, from the larger perspective, you realize that the one thing everyone can agree on is that the leave to pursue happiness, and happiness means different things to many people.
Individual happiness.
Yeah. So the pursuit of happiness, I derive this from the Declaration of Independence. The pursuit of happiness means different things to different people. And then when you think about it, if you're going to create a society that actually works, you have to create a society where people can actually pursue whatever form of happiness they want to, that actually, they can actually pursue it to the fullest extent possible.
Yes. I like
that's facilitalism. Is that right?
Yeah. That's what I called it. So, but there was this stuff I read about. I think it was. I don't know who actually wrote that. He said, in the state of nature, what people have is freedom. If you existed alone on this planet, you'd have the freedom to go anywhere you wanted. You'd have the freedom to do whatever. But what actually complicates this now is that once other people start coming into the equation, your idea of freedom might be the other person's idea of might be the other person's idea of being I don't know how to put it. I mean, for example, let me say if Boyce decided that he likes human meat, that doesn't bode well for Michael. That's the best way to put it. So your idea of freedom now might become something different to Michael, because now you're actually preventing him from having his own freedom. So you have to create a commonality, which is where laws come in.
That's right. And we're actually, I was gonna say, we're herd creatures. We're social creatures. We need each other to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
So
if you want to make a society, you have to make sure that you just stick to the barest. I don't know how to explain it. I'm actually writing a book on this. But you have to stick to the barest minimum. You just have to stick to the basics. Exactly what is it we need? We need each other to survive. And you establish an economic contract based on that. You establish a social contract based on that. People just exist to pursue fulfillment, individual happiness.
Right.
And I think if society goes more than that, if laws exist that actually go beyond that need, they become kind of I'm sorry, my head is not really in the game today, but there's actually a word for it,
we need community. We need other people.
Exactly.
We need to help each other, and that's why I don't want to fall back on the UBI, because again, it feels like I haven't figured out how to say it over and over again without because we're in a little echo chamber. It sounds like it's obviously we know that, right? But that will take care of so much. Just basic mental bandwidth. I was talking to Michael the other day. We need that freedom to think and like breathe, let our shoulders down.
Yeah, the reason why I liked Andrew's UBI, I actually thought about it, for a very long time, and I actually realized that we are being ripped off in a way, because it doesn't make sense to me. I talked with someone about inheritance, about for example, a person buys a piece of land and owns it permanently until infinity. It actually doesn't make any sense. Because let's just imagine the state of nature. You own a tree, someone could come there, strike you down, and take over the tree, because the tree doesn't actually belong to anyone.
Right.
So for example, now what society does is that it gives infinite reward to finite resources.
Yes.
And it doesn't make sense, because the only reason why this is possible is because we actually live in a society.
That's right.
So now you're creating laws that favor a particular group of people and exclude the other, when society is meant to benefit everybody. So I don't have any problem with people owning property, but then once you start passing it down, you say, yeah, my son takes this stuff. In the state of nature, you cannot actually defend that.
Right.
Because you can decide, okay, society can say, okay, yeah, you own this stuff and we're going to respect it. But once you die, people are just going to say, yeah, your lease of ownership is over.
Your son will have to be of fighting age, right? Your son will have to fight for it. Possibly,
yeah, of course,
right?
He has to fight for it, because he didn't create the land. The land was always there.
It sounds a lot like Thomas Paine's agrarian justice.
So I actually realized that there are three kinds of properties, and if you're able to distinguish between these three kinds, you can actually know which property is inheritable. The natural property, I don't think it makes any sense for people to be able to pass it down. But for example, if you write a book, it's from your own mind. It's not something that exists in nature.
You created something.
Yeah, you created something. So I think you have the you should have the determination to choose whoever is going to inherit that idea, because without you, that idea would never exist.
Right.
But then take physical property, for example, like trees or land. Even if you didn't exist, the property will always be there.
Right.
And someone else is going to have it. So I think UBI actually it levels the scale. It actually gives people the value that they're supposed to have naturally, because we own every part of this world. We own every tree, the rivers, the stone. We own it as a community. Society just makes people think that, oh yeah, this is private property, and it's going to stay that way for eternity. But it doesn't make any sense. So I think UBI kinds of like say, yes, we own this shit together,
and they're paying,
and we deserve we deserve a dividend of this shit we own together.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the concepts Andrew introduced me to. I wasn't aware of, was the externalities in economics, and that's a concept that it totally, once you get that, it's like, oh, it makes sense why we need to function as a society, why a UBI makes sense, why libertarian thought, economic thought specifically, is it's just omits this concept altogether. Because we are, no one ever fully was successful on their own merit. They were a benefactor of the society upon which they live.
Of course.
And that's not on the bottom line of a business or anything. So
yeah. So if anyone is stubborn and says, yeah, I deserve all this shit. Okay, let's say how many people live in the States? That's about 300, let's say 320 million. Let's imagine all 320 million say fuck Bezos. Fuck you. Can Bezos actually defend all his properties? Nope. I don't think so.
No.
So how does it make sense that one person can actually have all that and, actually determine that over the course of many generations that he can pass that shit down? And if you think about it, it only happens because society allows it.
Right.
That's right.
If society decides, if all society says, no, you're not going to do this, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense if human beings are omnipotent.
Yes.
But we are not omnipotent.
You're muted.
Everything we do, everything we do rests upon the consent of other people.
Yep.
No matter how people try to frame it, it always depends on the consent. That someone owns 3 billion, it depends on other people. You need other people to patronize you. You need people to work for you. You need people to actually believe that you actually deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I was going to say, new rule: you can only pass on 5 billion to your children. Can we put like a cap somewhere?
Yeah.
Like 10 billion, 20 billion?
Well, here's my thing. Everybody tries to act out how great Zuckerberg is and Bezos that said that before we die, we want to give away everything that we own, this and that. I'm like, why do you got to wait for then?
Yeah.
Why do you keep stealing from us now? Like, all these restaurants are shutting down. Guess what Amazon is doing right now, guys? They're trying to find a way to make a franchise that replaces every fucking failed business in this country. Amazon's doing that right now. They're going to say, they're going to be like Walmart for restaurants. They want to be the biggest chain of food because they know that is a necessity. Food, entertainment. I think Bezos has the resources, just like he just got passed up by Tesla or Elon Musk to be the richest person. Now we got a race, whatever. But why wait until the end of your time to give shit away for posterity's sake when you could do something nice today? They do charity, but Jeff Bezos should be the one fighting for universal basic income.
Yeah, he's not going to.
Why is he going to? Why is he going to anyways? I mean,
it makes business sense for him.
Well, I mean, he has all the wealth he needs.
I know,
it's almost like telling.
If you got to make it fit someone else's narrative, get them to get behind it, right? So it's got to benefit them somehow. So for a capitalist, you got to have capital, which means you got to have. Well, to be a capitalist, you need customers, and your customers have to have capital to give it to you for a service. So without capital in consumers' hands, there is no capitalism. His business is over. Just like you were saying, we lost her. But like now it's a dude party. Here we go. Like people like Jeff Bezos should be fighting for it. Say, you guys, let's circulate this money back down there. But of course they're not, because it doesn't serve their best interest. Is
right now
won't change the system because I am the winner. This system benefited me. I don't want to change it. Just like in government, they don't want to. Anti-votes. You don't want to have ranked choice voting. Are you insane? Hell no! I got voted in a duopoly. Keep this duopoly because I'm the winner.
So long as it's benefiting him, he'll continue to want to maintain the status quo.
Yeah. Of course.
As long as our newspapers are run by profit, and the legislators are run by profit by
healthcare,
calling people for money, fundraising. That's like all they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really like that question, though, Dominic. That's a great question, man.
Yeah, the whole debt issue, like this whole country, the whole world is drowning in debt. And one of the reasons that our, pandemic response was so horrible was because of all the loans that were due by state governments and city governments, and they couldn't shut down because they had to keep making those loan payments up. And who do we owe the money to? Ourselves. Like we literally owe ourselves the fucking money. And
you know what? Fuck it. Starting over. Zeros.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem society has is that it has failed to find a system that provides balance, which is why I asked the whole question about happiness. Society should be like nature. I mean, if you think about nature, it always continues in a particular cycle. Like it's going to be summer, autumn, spring, summer. It just goes round and round, and there's balance. But society always goes through this whole very destructive process. It starts out good and everything just kind of explodes. Everything kind of, I think you understand the point I'm trying to make. If there's no balance, it's always certain that, nothing is ever going to work. I mean, it can work for a particular period of time, but then everything is eventually going to go to shit because there's actually the system we have wasn't built on balance.
I mean, you could argue we're there now. You could argue capitalism has already failed twice in our lifetimes. And
of course. I mean, capitalism is an unhealthy system. But I also don't agree with communism, though, because for very different reasons. But I think it's just about finding the balance finding the thin line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got a question for you guys too then about government, right? So in 26 states and 1 territory in the United States government, we have direct democracy representation, where we can get a clipboard and decide as a community, hey, I want to legalize, let's say sex work should be legal and they should have safe places to perform their job and have, taxable income and have a social security contributions for sex workers, right? It is a profession. I don't participate. I hope I never have to or need to, I hope I'm happy. But like to say, I decide that Michigan is going to be a place where people can have safe transactions, human to human transactions called sex work. We have the right and the direct democracy to get a clipboard and go gather 100,000 signatures, put it on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 25 other states that don't, so to me, I think a hybrid system, like you were saying, Dominic, I don't agree with communism. I don't agree with unfettered capitalism. We got to find a hybrid, which is democratic socialism, what we're trying to play with. But government-wise, we'll never get there without a hybrid between representative democracy and direct democracy. And I think a way of hybridizing this is to say, okay, we have technology on our side. We can somehow create an infrastructure where I get elected to be a county representative for the state of Michigan. In my county, I say, okay, guys, here's our Facebook page or what our government website, whatever you want to call it. You come here and I'm going up to the state to vote on legalization of sex work. What do you guys think? And there's 70,000 people in my district. And if only 40,000 vote, then that's the 40,000 I represent. You got 1 week to make your vote. Then I'm going to go there and I cast a vote by what you people say.
Exactly.
Not my opinion. I think we have that representative democracy and direct democracy by our votes, voting on each individual vote that's cast at the state and county level. That's the hybrid I think would be best, where we all actually have a say every day of the week, not just
I like it. People are going to push back because they're going to say people are dumb. I would say just in terms of being able to try to get it off the ground and as a compromise, maybe put a window in it, right? Like if it's within a 10% margin, right? If it's within 50 to 60, then you get to choose. Like you can overturn, if it's if it only wins 54, then you can still go the other way. Something like that.
I don't know, man. The numbers don't lie. My opinion should not matter. If it's 50,
of course,
maybe. But 54 is 54. We just had a president decided by less, right? So why should Vice President Pence?
Well, maybe 52. I don't know.
No, not negotiable to me.
But the knee-jerk reaction, people are going to say, so why do we even have the representative? I don't.
Someone's got to go to the vote. Someone's got to go to also debate, because you only get that one vote in your county and your state. So everybody votes. And then it's closed. Then you have the within margins. You're like, okay, we don't have the overwhelming majority. Now it's time to debate amongst ourselves. That's why you have representatives that stand for these principles. They can debate at the state level for you. You got to go to work. You can't go there. So we're going to send someone to represent us. 40,000 of our 70,000 people voted yes for this. And then you can kind of, I know it's not perfect. It's not worked out in my head, but it's a hybrid system that could be implemented quickly.
I thought exactly the same thing you thought about. And actually, I think it makes sense. That was a ridiculous science fiction book I was writing. I actually called Cybernocracy. It was about a state where human beings made the constitution automated. They automated the constitution. So automatically a computer does the interpretation of laws and shit like that.
Wow.
And people acted as direct representatives. There was a database. Excuse me, sorry. What the representatives do is that they actually present options, and then the people vote on them. It just reminded me of what you just said now. So
yeah. Well, what if we did a government version of what's that dating site? Swipe left and swipe right, right? What's that called?
Tinder.
What's that called?
Tinder.
Tinder.
Oh, Tinder. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's almost like that, where we all have a voice in this community. Say, okay, this is desirable, this is not. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we can say legalization of marijuana. I support that. Swipe right. Period. You know. Do you want to support legalization of all drugs? Swipe left. I don't think that's true. But enough swipe rights, then we're going to have to talk about it at the next level up.
And we're going to have to talk about identifying people online, which is an uncomfortable conversation.
Yep.
I know Michael is on board with that, but we need something to verify that people are real.
I got you. So I think we should create an online passport. So our opinions and thoughts travel across the lines, right? I can certify, just like Twitter does a blue check mark, there should be a green check mark for me. I'm Boyce. I submit to a third party. Here's my driver's license to confirm my identity. Here's my physical address. And here's my passport type of thing. Like, now you can secure me and I have a login. Just like if you can file your taxes while taking a shit in Walmart, you should be able to vote. And if you go to do I did my taxes on my couch last year on my cell phone, right? So you have to have a PIN number. That's all it is. It's just like an ATM. I go online and you have to go to this place to secure who you are when you cast these votes. And it's like a blockchain verified thing that we all know blockchain. Those who know blockchain know that it is damn near impenetrable without like quantum computing. And so even if there is quantum computing, you have better quantum computing for blockchain. It's a some game.
Yeah.
Use isn't worth the squeeze to hack one person's account when there's 320 million people who have a verification that says, oh, there's a deviation. That's wrong. Delete it and fix it. You know, like you're saying, Dominic, an automatically functional computer system that says, this is Dominic, this is Michael, Shane, and Boyce. Here's 4 votes. What are they going to decide? And we can do that if we get technology back on board, man. We've got to get back, man, because like you're saying, Dominic, we are, like I said, 47th in the world. How many countries are there? Like 300?
Yeah, about 200 and something.
200 and something. It's like just under 300. We're at 40. We'll just say 50. That is pathetic. With all the resources we have, we can't educate people and keep them safe. What the hell?
We don't want to.
Yeah, well, they don't want to.
They don't want to. Yeah.
We need that lobbyist. We need Andrew. We need Andrew up there fighting somebody.
Okay, I got another question for you guys. So this is going to be another clip, okay? Andrew Yang runs for mayor and wins. Okay? He has no interest in running for public policy, national politics, because Biden somehow gets through reoccurring cash payments. UBI becomes a thing. Andrew Yang's not running for president now. There's no incentive for him. So let's move past that. Who will you nominate to be the next Andrew Yang? Who would you nominate to be the people's party or the people's representative, like the people's lobbyist, to go to Congress to lobby for the next great thing of UBI or something like that? Like, who would you guys nominate as the next representative of us, the people? And
someone that's in high school right now. Like, I want a young 20. I mean, I want to hand it off to the younger kids. Like, so they'd be maybe a college kid or something like that for real. Like, I think that their future's with them. And I think
Michael, you're talking like you're an old ass man. Are you 60?
Well, I'm almost 40, man. I'm going to be 40.
I'm 45, asshole.
Well, I mean, 44.
All your children as dictators, Michael?
No, don't let my daughter do it. She would be a iron-fisted. She would, yeah. So
she's still a teenager, or she's a young adult now?
She's a teenager. She's only, I think she's 14, but she will get her way. So. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, let's see what Erica Rhodes is up if she's up to the task, right? Well, I'd like to see her one in Congress first, but then assuming she does well, I think she's up to the task.
Hi, sorry.
Hey there, just so you know, I posed the question of Andrew Yang is no longer an option for us to represent us in Congress as the people's lobbyist, right? Who would you nominate? That's kind of where. And Shane said Erica Rhodes.
Oh, I thought we were saying well.
No,
yeah,
to
be in Congress, yeah, Erica.
No, I'm saying to be a lobbyist that talks to all Congress people.
I need to vote for myself because I'm running too.
What's that?
I said I'd have to vote for myself as well because I'm running too.
Not as an elected official, as a lobbyist for the people.
As what?
A lobbyist for the people.
Oh.
Like the
Andrew is, like Andrew is right now.
Oh yeah, no, I would definitely Erica for sure.
Okay. And Shane said Erica. Michael said some kid in college.
Some kid in college.
I mean, honestly, I just don't see that. Like, I want it better. I want like Andrew Yang style across the board. We got to start demanding, and so I don't know that I see a whole lot out there right now. That and maybe it'd be Viz, like she'll go run or something. But we need new faces.
Nina Turner.
You know, personally, I think we should invest in ideas. And then, we have a set of ideas, and then people can just say, if you support this idea, we support you. If you don't support it, then you can go ahead and get the hell out.
Yeah,
I don't believe really. I mean, I like Andrew, I like Yang, but I'm not really someone who indulges in cults of personalities where I say this person is infallible. I think which is the mistake people try to make in the Yang gang. Like, Andrew is almost like a god or something, and he's our last hope.
We need an entertainer. That's right now. Like, we just have to deal with
exactly. And this buys back to what exactly that I was saying. That people, the problem now is that people want to believe in something. And for example, the Yang gang now is Yang. Yang happens to be the person everyone is placing their trust in. Take away Yang now, and everyone falls back to despondence. People are like, yeah, he's our last hope.
But that's what I'm trying to avoid with this question. The whole point of avoid that is who do we think could carry the mantle to represent our ideas that we all agree upon right now, like the idea you're saying. Who do you think is that next generation person that you would nominate? Let's say you could pick someone to.
Are you trying to get us to pick you, boys?
No, absolutely not. I got too much shit to do.
Are you running? You're running, aren't you?
I'm running in the state of Michigan. Yes.
For state level or federal?
State level. Yep. Yeah. Let's be realistic. I can't win a national thing. I'm nobody with no money and no connections, and that takes over $1 million. And I know I'm not Andrew Yang. I don't have that kind of friend group, if you will. Like, his email list is much more impressive than mine was when he started his campaign. Like, he still knew people that went to high places, that had resources. Oh, will you cut me a check? Sure. Like, whoa, you can no one's ever cut me a check. So for me, I'm thinking it's more reasonable. It's punching up to run for state legislation as it is for me. So I'm going to try and punch up to become state and not run for like city to county to state. I'm going straight to the state, because that's where I think I can make the most difference in my own state. Me personally, I think I would nominate Scott Santens because he's Andrew without all the hoopla. He's unemotional. He does not even crack a smile most times. He just says it and just looks at you like, do you understand the words that come out of my mouth? Kind of look, And
I like that about him too.
Yeah, and I think we can call it, instead of Yang Gang, it'd be like Santens Saints. We could make up another vernacular. Like, you never know. If it could have been Scott Santens, we just didn't know. Like, so to me, someone like Scott Santens, I would feel comfortable donating towards a cause where we all agree to human-centered capitalism, representation. I think Scott Santens could be that person that we could elevate to say, we want you to go to Congress and walk those halls and lobby for us, the people.
Scott Squad.
Scott Squad.
I think Saints is just hilarious, but that's kind of where I'm at, where we need, like you were saying, Dominic, I don't want to become a cult of personality.
Cori Bush.
Who?
Cori Bush.
Oh man, she's solid. I can't wait to see her in action on the floor when she's like, remember AOC came in and she was wringing her hand at these people. I was like, yeah, get her, girl. Now Cori Bush, that's to me the American dream, quote unquote. Not the capitalist version of it, but the societal version, the government version, self-representative version. Is someone who is a single mother receiving all the social living off the social safety net to survive. Becomes the leader of a Black Lives Matter movement because of police brutality in her neighborhood, and then goes on the run for Senate and wins. Holy shit. Talk about jumping some rungs real quick. In one generation,
yep,
you go from a cyclical life of poverty to I'm over here helping people make decisions because I represent us, the people. And she can talk from a place of experience because someone challenged her with a stupid ass question. It was hilarious. It was like MSNBC or something. She's on there and they said something about welfare and this and that. She goes, do you know how much a pack of Pampers costs? And they're like, and they just kind of looked at her dumb. She's like, that's a for real question. Like, how much do baby Pampers cost? How many come in a pack? How long does that last? And they just, and she's like, let me tell you, it's $23.99.
But some people live up to that in food in a month, right?
Exactly. And that's what her point was, is as much as we spend on food, we need even more for our children. And you guys deny us that. What we need for food, you guys deny us that for shelter. It costs even more than that. And she went in deep. And those motherfuckers froze. And I love Cori Bush for that moment. I can't wait to see her put on a fucking suit and walk up in that bitch and be a queen. I'm telling you what. Her and Bowman, that's next generation representation right there. The squad just doubled in size. Like you're saying, Michael, earlier, if we can get 10% progressive representation,
10%.
We are the independent vote. We are the libertarian vote. We are the swing party. Yep. We decide which way this, like Dominic said, this pendulum gets paused by us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a pendulum going back and forth, and every once in a while we're going to apply the brakes. Slow down.
You won't get everything you want, but you can have your issue that is important to that, and you can get that one issue because you can hold shit up, and
that's politics. You can say, I will allow this, but you must support this. This is right. And if you burn us, you will never get another vote from us. That's politics, man. That's what they do behind closed doors. That's how deals get done on the golf course, at a bar, in the men's locker room, because we don't want women making decisions in America, you know. Jesus. Go ahead, Shane.
That's something that you can do locally too, is if you have your own, if you can organize in your own community and demonstrate that you all will vote as a block, and your representatives will fucking pay attention to you and come and ask you what it is that he needs to do.
Yeah, they got to
organize, right? I was just going to say Dan Price. I would like to see him in office.
That's a good one.
Oh, God.
Or fighting for the people. You don't like him?
Oh, no. I love him because someone else posed the question of the top 50 people on the world, and it listed all the top 10 people of the world that are most influential. They said, oh, do you think it's Andrew Yang? Do you think it's Elon Musk? Do you think it's Jeff Bezos? I'm like, why is Dan Price not on this list?
Right.
This motherfucker had everything, and he says, I am no better than the people that work for me. And he asked the question, why does a person who cleans my office make $12 an hour?
Yeah.
He said, he didn't say it hourly wages. He goes, $70,000 a year salary minimum, which means everyone up the rung got a bump too, to validate their efforts.
I know why he's not on the list, boys. It's because, and he said it in Yang Speaks, because what he did didn't work. People did not follow his lead. He thought that if he showed that everybody would follow his lead. But just like Dom said, you know, this our human nature, whatever it is we didn't follow. So that's why Dan said that he believes more in UBI now than ever because of that. Because of
people won't do what's best for others. Typically, we're selfish. But
exactly.
Selfishness, man. It's a crazy thing, and
they won't do what's best for themselves if it means postponing a profit today. They will steal the money today at the detriment of tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. And that is why I said, you know, if you're going to build a society has to reflect the fact that people are always going to pursue their selfish purposes. You know, which brings it back into play, fulfillment and happiness. So, but you need to actually take this negative and create a positive, you know. So you actually create a society that works for everyone.
That's why
that prevents people's selfish desires from infringing upon the freedom of others.
Man, you just took the words out of my mouth, dude. I was thinking what you said earlier about the Constitution. The premise was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, life is you have the right, no one has the right to control your life. Liberty is the freedom of choices, and the pursuit of happiness is impossible without health and resources.
Yes, of course.
So we got to take care. We can do that right fucking now. Joe Biden sits down and goes, healthcare, figured out. I just wrote it. It's done.
Yep.
Finance that shit, Congress. The people demand it. It's got 77% support. Joe Biden will go down as a legend. He will become Caesar in the history books.
That's how we have to market all of the progressive policies. The progressive movement as a whole is about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whether you like the patriotism aspect or not, the fact is that the conservative rural voter loves it, and I think we can sell them on this.
Yeah.
Like with that angle.
If you're not able to be healthy.
Yeah.
It don't matter. Look at what's his name? The guy that the theory of everything. Stephen Hawking's, right? He had everything, but he did not have his health.
Yep.
And it held him back his entire life. So I'm not saying he wasn't happy. I didn't say he didn't pursue happiness, but it definitely was a detriment. It slowed down. Imagine what he could have accomplished if he could have dictated his own thoughts. Holy shit.
And that's so many people are not have their life trajectories are diminished because of problems that we as a society have the means of solving. Like we have the wealth to do it. So the question is, morally, do we want to accept not doing it even though we have the means, or do we want to say fuck that, that's not acceptable anymore? We're changing the rules. Everyone is guaranteed health, housing, food. We're not going to have anyone starving in this fucking country anymore. To me, I think that's the line in the sand that's like we should demand.
I really do think that this rally cry, if you will, like a charge the castle kind of speech, will still capture those same types of people that are looking to find purpose, to follow leaders, right?
Yeah.
To say that we stick to the aspirations of the Constitution, which is, first of all, freedom, liberty, life, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's where you get people, pursuit of happiness. And I'm not saying we determine what your happiness is. You have the freedom to decide for yourself with resources, but you cannot do it without health. And I think that's a way to me, healthcare is, oh boy, what's the point in UBI if you can't go to the hospital and afford to go to the hospital?
Yeah.
You're going to die with diabetes at 32.
Yep.
Because you can't afford insulin. No matter how much you give in UBI, you can't afford insulin. It's overpriced, right?
They're paired for me. I used to be a UBI not anymore. Not after this year. I think that they're
100%.
Yeah, they're right there on the same level.
Yep. I think we should hold Pelosi and Mitch McConnell at the same standard as forced to vote on both of them.
Yeah.
And see where we're at. And then we can kind of say, okay, these are the numbers. We have 60% here. We have 25% there. Let's get this one first. Let's make sure we flip the Senate. Let's flip the Congress and be as robust of a agenda to say.
Well, that's very important, boys. That's very important to say. Nancy and Mitch, although we don't, it's going to change now. Thank God, who the people are. But yeah, you gotta invoke their names every time, because people they'll look at it and they're on the other side. It's not their team, and then they don't like it, and then they talk about why. It's all fucking distraction.
Well, that's when you get the representative democracy is held accountable, and say, okay, you're a Democrat, really? You don't support universal basic income or Medicare for all? What do you stand for then, asshole?
Yeah. That's why they got to vote, because even if they make that excuse like, well, it's not going to pass. No, fucking vote, because then we know who the primary. We know where you are, and
who stands in the way of progress.
Yep.
Period. But I think we can do it. And I think if we can all keep talking and find a way to focus our energies over the next year,
yes,
that we're going to be like, okay, we have some inertia, but we've got to get resources. It doesn't matter what we say if we don't have resources. We're just going to keep pop, 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 pop. We're no different than the ant complaining about being stepped on by us.
And the system is weak right now. It's the political system, the economic system. They're all like they're all about to tumble over, and they're projecting this. They try to project power and strength as best as they can, but the Republican Party is reeling. The Democratic Party they got a 100-day agenda. If they don't pass something significant in that 100-day agenda, they're going to be 2 years and out.
They're done.
And the corporate structure, the banking infrastructure, everything is like very fragile. We have the fucking power right now, and we have to recognize that and use it.
Time and leverage, dude. It's right now.
There's very few windows of opportunity, like through the course of humanity, where we have an opportunity to actually change that direction in a significant way. And we happen to be living in one of them right now, but the window is closing quickly.
Yeah. Well, I want to say this, guys. I got to call it up, wrap it up here in a minute, but I want to make sure we do this. I want you guys all to talk about your platforms. You can find out more from you specifically, and make sure you DM me on Twitter your links, and I'll add it to the description box. I'm going to make clips out of this too. Dominic, you had a great little spot there. That needs to be highlighted in my opinion. And I think us talking about all the other things, I want to really highlight these things, because someone says a 2.5 hour live stream, like, fuck all, man. I got to make clips to make it more consumable.
Yeah.
Not intimidating, but I want to include all of our links to everyone's channels or movements. Like, so Michael, go ahead and say what your channel is, where you want people to follow you at.
I want everyone to go to my TikTok, man. It's Resist for Humanity on TikTok. I just had my best video. I had like 40,000 views, like 7,000 likes on it today.
Wow.
And it's blowing up. So yeah, go follow me over there. I make content every day. I'm crazy too.
All day.
All day, all night.
At night.
There it is. Okay, Shane, where you at? We're gonna find you.
My handle for Twitter is Wash Heights 44. The podcast is called Washington Heights on YouTube. It goes on Twitter too, and Twitch. I gotta set it up to stay there, but it goes live on Twitch as well. And the Twitter handle for that podcast is Wash Heights Pod. And yeah, I got Michael is on, the most frequent guest. We got Nandi. We got Faye is on all the time. We got Matt Skidmore has been on 3 times. I'm not gonna shout out everybody, but yeah, it's kind of like a round table. You know, we're just kind of kicking ideas around casually. Whoever's awake at the time, usually late night. I'm gonna try to start doing it early on in the daytime, so I actually get some eyeballs on there soon.
Okay, what about you, Dominic?
My Twitter account is at NickNIK_Eni, ENI. And the podcast, I think, is going to be available tomorrow. So,
really?
That's not N. That's ENI. Nick_Eni, ENI.
I put ENI.
Yeah, you put NEI. Yes, yeah, exactly. So, and the podcast is going to be available tomorrow. So, I'm going to send you the link.
What's your podcast called so I can put it up?
I named it Secularis, but I don't know if it's going to appear that way there. I mean, Secularis, that's the name.
Okay.
But I don't have an episode yet up.
Oh, okay. So when you do, we'll include the links. Cool. All right. And what about you, Viz?
Oh yeah, I was about to type it in the chat. So my main Twitter is VISURANTVIZ. Visurant, Viz is one word. I'm also on TikTok at Visurant, and also on YouTube, same name, at Visurant.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, guys. I really appreciate your time, man. This has been a great discussion. I love doing these. I'm gonna try and do these every weekend. I'm gonna try and bring a rotation of different people every time. And we're going to get a collective argument here, and we're going to have some agreements and disagreements. But
get me on when you got a conservative one, one of those hard right ones. I want to argue with them. So
that's my forte, bro.
Get him.
But yeah, I definitely reached out to some of my more conservative friends. They just weren't able to make it tonight.
Yeah.
I definitely love those conversations, but we just got to keep having these uncomfortable conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight wasn't all that uncomfortable. Honestly, I liked it, but I really do want more pushback from center-right friendships, friends of mine, not friendships. But that represents the Yang Gang. We are center-right and center-left, and far-left. Not really a far-right organization here, but I hope not. Jesus Christ!
Not these days, man.
Fucking hell!
Bad time to be righty.
Yeah, it's not welcome.
No.
How can you far right and be human-centered capitalism? It's like a we call it opposing views.
I would argue they never. Yeah, it doesn't mix. But hey, prove me wrong though. I'm open to being wrong.
For sure.
Paradox.
But seriously, thanks for joining me. It's been over 2 hours. You guys have allowed me to borrow your time to do this. And I'll be having clips, and I'll be sharing these on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. It's the Trickle Up, man. So we're trying to do more stuff like this to bring people together and amplify everyone's voice in one place, you know. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Trickle Up YouTube channel, and you get alerts for all the clips as this comes out too.
All right, Trickle Up.
Awesome, Trickle Up.
Fucking love you guys, man. Dominic, first time meeting you, dude.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Out, man. I like.
I'm going to I'm going to share my book once I'm done with it. I'm going to share it. I hope y'all are going to read it. I think.
Oh yeah.